Today, we're taking a look at Nintendo Switch 2 release date rumors, as well as some other stuff about what we can expect for the Switch 2 in terms of prices. We got a lot more news that has been coming out for the last couple of days, because now we are in the home stretch. In a month from now, we'll be getting the Switch 2 Direct presentation, meaning that we'll pretty much get the price, the release date, some potential new games that we are going to be seeing for the first time, and as well, we're going to be seeing a lot of more stuff. So of course, guys, this is the channel where you are going to be able to get all Nintendo and Sonic content. So trust me, you're going to be able to want to stick to the ride. I know it's been a minute since I've done a video, and that is simply because I've had a lot of movement going around in my room. And of course, as you can see, we're in a completely different section of the room right now in terms of recording videos. So of course, like I said, this is how videos are now going to be. You will see this angle throughout most of the videos. So I just wanted to give bit of an update on that, but yeah, we are now in this area of the room as we're going to continue to make some fire Nintendo content, because guys, we are in the home stretch of peak. Alright, so the first article I actually want to look comes from comicbook.com, and they actually had some stuff to talk about the game individual prices themselves. So, a new price increase for Nintendo Switch 2 games and Nintendo Switch Online sends a warning to Nintendo fans ahead of the release of the Switch 2 later this year. As every Nintendo fan knows, the Switch 2 release date and price point have yet to be revealed. Based on rumors and industry analysis, the current expectation is the Switch 2 could release as early as June and cost of $400. Now, that is exactly what I expected, right? We take a look back on the Switch 1, it was $300 at the time of the launch. So I'm expecting for the Switch 2 to be $400. And also, I also believe that it will be primarily available to a lot of people who want this console right away on day one. I think Nintendo is more of the console-ready company, if I'm being realistically honest, where I think they have enough manufactured already to the point where everybody, if they plan to pre-order this console, if they get a high volume of them, I think a lot of people are going to be able to get them. So again, that is what I expected. That said, not only could Nintendo fans be forced to put up at least $400 to play the Nintendo Switch at launch, but they could also be facing the possibility of paying more for Nintendo Switch 2 games that they have been paying for the Nintendo Switch 1 games. And pretty much what they say here is the price point from Nintendo during the Nintendo Switch generation has been $60. The implications of a new change, though, suggest this $70 price point may be the standard during the Nintendo Switch 2 generation. Now, here's the thing, right? We are in a console generation currently where the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, majority of the first-party / third-party games that go on their systems are $70. So Nintendo doing this as well, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't expect every game to be in this price point, if I'm being honest. I expect most of the first parties, like Mario games, Zelda games, maybe Pokemon does this, the next Smash will probably be this price. But like, realistically, if I think like they release like a Yoshi game, for example, I don't think that's gonna be $70. In my opinion, that would be kind of crazy. But we'll have to see what it is. Either way, I'm a guy that's going to be buying these anyway, so I don't think it really matters for me in the grand scheme of things. But for some people who, obviously, there's been a lot of discussion about game prices a lot in the last couple of years because of how high they've been. And if we just keep getting increases in everything, it could make getting games as a whole very soon very difficult. So I'm hoping that if this is true, that hopefully majority of games are 70, but also just in general, I hope that, you know, some of the, you know, the ones like the Yoshi games, maybe even some of the Kirby's, I'll expect like the next 3D Kirby to be like 70, but every other side game basically for any of these series, I hope it's cheaper than $70 when it launches. So that's it for that article immediately. Also, sorry, I tried to find a better article for this, but for some reason this one has a big ad around it. I don't know why they do this, but this is from theexpress.com, who had this to say. So the Nintendo Switch 2 release date will be slighter later than expected. The Nintendo Switch 2 release date should be officially revealed during April's Nintendo Direct Switch 2 presentation. The Switch 2 was previously tipped for a May release date, specifically after Nintendo finishes holding its Switch 2 Experience events. Then we also have this. However, based on the latest comments from an industry insider, it looks like the Nintendo Switch 2 release date will be slightly later than anticipated. So this next part of the video, it actually is discussed in this article. I'm gonna bring the quote from it, but apparently a former Nintendo employee basically got on some sort of video or podcast recently and basically discussed some of the following. So he said exactly this: they're going to want the system to be out before the end of the summer, the ex-Nintendo employee explains. I would say at the start of the summer, at the end of the school year, so you have kids talking about what they're excited for, which, yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. You know, I've been saying this, I think having it during the summer is a good marketing idea for Nintendo to do for this next console, because think about it, right? Kids will be getting out. Nintendo's known as being a family system, a family company, so having the families being able to do this for their kids, or, you know, young adults, you know, whoever's trying to get these systems, having it as a gift during vacation, I think it's great, especially because Nintendo, I think, will also be very active as a company this upcoming holiday season, like around Christmas and stuff like that, in terms of what they plan to do to release. So I'm not surprised about this, but they also say this. Here are more quotes from what they said in that podcast. So they said, I think we'll see a June launch. I'm thinking maybe mid-June, for a little bit later than that, but definitely before the end of the summer. That thing's coming out. There are good strategic reasons why that would be part of the consideration. With the portability factor of the Switch 2, releasing the console in time for summer holidays makes sense. So hopefully we'll see the console by mid-June at the latest. This means users can take the console on long car rides and plane journeys during the summer holiday season. Nintendo can expect a second big sales boost towards the end of the year as people begin shopping for Christmas presents. Just like I said, it'll be very active during holiday because I believe they'll release a 3D Mario game during then. But let's talk about some other things. This is what I expect, to be quite honest. Like, the fact that we have a Direct 2 presentation in pretty much in April, and we also have the Switch 2 experience, which is what people are basically allowed to sign up for. The fact that we have some events that even are stretching out to early June makes me think, like, yeah, they want people to test them out, give feedback probably, you know, see how the console is running, and people play testing a lot of stuff on them, just to have that experience. And then pretty much once those are done, we pretty much in middle to late June, we'll probably have this console in the palm of our hands at our homes. So, in my opinion, a lot of this honestly makes a lot of sense, and I think this guy in the podcast that he was in, the former Nintendo employee, probably, you know, has his sources, so I would take his word for it, but also take it with a grain of salt, because, again, anything can happen when it comes to the release. So we are still very vulnerable when it comes to intel information currently on this console, that I feel like we need a lot more right now. We need a lot more cookies in the cookie jar to really find out when is this console actually coming out. And I think all of our answers are going to be answered, and I think all of our questions are going to be answered during that Nintendo Switch 2 presentation. So to give some more feedback on what I believe, you know, we just read 2 articles, and pretty much what I gathered from it is that we are most likely in a pretty good home stretch for this console. Again, a lot of more speculation, rumors, details, and just a lot more sources are going to be coming out with some more stuff that we can, you know, take in, see what we think about it. Of course, I'm going to be covering it because I'm excited for what's coming up. And yeah, I would have loved to talk about Pokemon Champions and Pokemon Legends ZA during that event. I was planning on streaming it, but I had a lot going on. Of course, still finishing up my stuff. I had to set up my webcam one more time. It's been a bit of a mess recently the last couple weeks, but I am happy to be back covering this stuff. And of course, the next month is going to be great for the channel. Trust me, guys, we're going to be covering this console to a T. And also, just to let you guys know, I am planning on something pretty big when it comes to the Switch 2 Direct. I will bring some more news if that can be confirmed. But yeah, like I said, we are in a great stretch right now. We are basically officially a month now away from this presentation. We are for sure going to be watching it together, enjoying it together, and of course, I'm excited for this next Nintendo era for sure.